welcome to 2025, boys and girls. You are watching the Crafty Boys, a bunch of dudes sit around talking about crap and stuff and
That's
whatnot.
about it.
And yeah, so we're all going to get naked now, and the show will get better.
Okay.
So, how is your 2025, boys? It's only been about 18 days or so. How has it been? 2025 to me could just fuck the hell off already.
I gotta say, so far 2025 has treated me pretty well. I've had a good 2025 so far. My fear is that as a tiger, I am facing up on the Lunar New Year, which comes at the end of the month, and which proclaims the Year of the Snake. Which, anyway, I guess we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it's a nightmare. Oh, Alan's suddenly in the Black Falcon. Well done, sir.
Okay, nice one.
So, to start off this year, Locke, what are you drinking?
Okay, so this is a brewery that this is Second Wedge Brewing Company.
Second Wedge?
Yes.
Where has this been, the brewery been on the show before? Have you brought this?
I don't believe so. I believe
yeah, they sound new to me.
This is a new discovery. They're from Uxbridge, Ontario.
Okay.
So the beer that wants to be a sandwich, oak smoked wheat and pale rye malts provide a lightly smoked aroma and a crisp, dry finish. German Weissbier yeast leads spice and banana notes. Try it with a pickle. So,
do you have a pickle?
No, but the tin does. Now,
I love the simplicity of that logo. That's kind of awesome.
The simplicity of it is pretty awesome. I would note that as pickles go, I mean, it's mighty close to suggestive, wouldn't you say?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. So, with that questionable thought in mind, it does also sort of look like a smile. Anyway, so what does this taste like? Well, I tried it for the first time last night, and I was astonished to find that, yeah, it actually tastes an awful lot like a sandwich.
Really?
It tastes like a sandwich.
It tastes like Montreal smoked meat on rye.
Really?
Fucking A, it does. Yeah.
What?
It's great.
How is this possible? Okay, what is the brewery again?
Who is the brewer? Is it Willy Wonka?
This is Second Wedge Brewing Company. This is the most, I think, aside from unique recipe I've come across in the last 5 years, in terms of flavor, it's one of the few unique ones that actually tastes good.
Really?
Yeah, I would have
pairings.
I would have this with a Reuben or a Montreal smoked meat sandwich.
This twist on the traditional. Hang on, let me share this here.
And it does all of that yet it's kind of refreshing. And when I say that, I mean it's not. There's nothing gross about it.
Mm-hmm.
This twist on the traditional Munich wheat beer has a lightly smoked aroma and a crisp, dry finish from additions of oak smoked wheat and pale rye malts, low hop bitterness. That is lingering spice and banana notes.
And when they bring up the banana notes, I mean, in that sort of estery kind of banana chips kind of a way,
Right.
Right. That is absolutely. I totally want to have this.
I will try to send you one.
Beer Finder. I'm assuming this tells me where.
I'm
I
gonna
want
bet
you to
not in BC.
Nope, nowhere in BC. So welcome to where I live in Vancouver, and not even in the States. This is so sad. Search radius,
You guys,
700 kilometers.
the fact that they've only just crossed my radar means that they're probably only just getting started. Like they're
Right.
probably not that big. They might be a very recent company.
Well, let's see. They
That's fair.
are. Looks like they are 2021. Oh no, wait, 2020.
Okay.
So it looks like they have been around for about that long. What does their FAQ say? Do we serve food? Can I bring my kids? Can I bring my dog? Their tasting room allows dogs! I'm in. Actually, it looks like 2019. You'd think they'd have an about page on here. I'm just picking up little tiny things here or there.
Mm.
But this is awesome. I kind of want to check this out sometime. So I have beer. Alan has beer. Our beer is the same thing. Alan, what beer do we have tonight? Is Alan totally silent, or is that just me?
Alan is totally silent. Why?
Alan is totally silent.
Now he's frozen. Oh no!
Now he's crying.
Yeah. Well,
A bear is attacking him.
Yeah, you know what they say? There's a danger in making faces, Alan, because the wind could change and you could get frozen that way. And nowadays, that's actually true.
So, no then. Alan is completely silent. Well, let me tell you then. So this beer that I just opened, this is from a brewery just partway between Victoria and Sydney, BC, called Continuum. Category 12's rum barrel aged barley wine. So this is about 900% alcohol by volume.
They are perhaps amongst my favorite Vancouver breweries.
They are category 12 Continuum. So this is actually a beer that
Where are they located?
they're located sort of Keating Crossroad kind of area in north of Victoria.
Okay, Victoria. All right, good.
And apparently Alan has vanished, but that's okay because I'm just going to look up I want to actually know more about this because this beer is a beer that they make periodically. I think it's almost a yearly event. And it is a beer that we've had on the show before. This year it is the one that we have today is the 2022 vintage. So it's been sitting in the can for a little while. So I just want to find this particular beer on their website. Quantum Imperial Stout we've had on the show. Where is it? It's not even on their main list. I think do they have a seasonal list maybe? No, it doesn't seem to be. They have a non-alcoholic version, or non-alcoholic, Okay, apparently it's not here. Sadly, on their website. Otherwise, I could tell you more. But essentially, we've had this beer before. It is something that I don't remember what vintage we had last time, but this is definitely a fairly potent barley wines. So I'm not going to put it in something see-through today because I took some time this week and I cleaned a lot of glassware that I haven't touched in years. So I thought it would be nice to drink this particular beer in a very large mug that happens to be branded with the Baratheon logo from Lord of the Rings. So ours is the Fury. Ours is the Fury House Baratheon. Alan is back.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. What happened?
I have
Machine
no idea.
just went crazy.
It was telling me that my microphone was being used by another app,
Oh crap.
but it was working earlier before we went live. So I don't know. I rebooted.
So
it's fine.
I'm just gonna read this off the can. This is the anniversary release, the 6th anniversary, eighth anniversary. We brewed our barley wine in the fall of 2021 with 100% barley, malt grown and malted by little elves in a field, by Field 5 Farms on the Saanich Peninsula. Freshly emptied Barbados rum barrels then were used to keep the beer, allowing for rich, fruity flavors and rum, blah blah, vanilla, blah, more taste notes. The resulting is a smooth barley wine, and I think I can't read this. Alan, what is the alcohol by volume in this? 11.5%. So we're gonna die. So
Yeah, 11.5.
it smells like a barley wine.
Getting a lot of like notes of plums, and you could definitely smell the rum.
I can feel it in my plums.
Oh, I didn't need to hear that.
Is that the color of it, Ellen?
Wow.
This is.
It's a very red color.
That is a ruby red.
It is. It's a ruby red, and this one's been aged. Actually, this is a 2022 vintage, so this one's now 3 years old.
This is good.
It's damn good. Like, it has a really good mouthfeel. It's full bodied.
Talk flavor profile.
Plums.
It
Okay.
tastes like juice. Like
Juice has
just a
been-
nice juice. Yeah.
You can definitely taste the rum. The rum
Yeah.
has imparted itself onto the beer itself. It's almost like say a stout that has been
Yeah.
aged, like barrel aged almost, but it has a little bit more of a kick to it because it's a barley wine.
Yeah, I mean that is
Hold it up to the
tasty.
camera again, please, Alan. I'd like to take a look at that again. That is quite a color, isn't it?
It is.
Now, is there any head on it?
No, none.
No, not at all. It's very. You can't tell what it is really until you smell it.
Do we have an ingredient?
That is. Well, they don't have it on their website, but not on the can either. Unless it's at the very bottom, but that's usually the fine print. But I want to, because you mentioned this is one of your favorite breweries, I want to point this out just for a second because I'm curious as to what you think. So they have these products here called Hopped Up, and I just thought it was another beer, but no, it's sparkling hop infused water at 0 alcohol and calories. Have you had this before or had something like it?
I have. You know who else does that? Or at least did it for a little while. Was Sawdust City.
Really?
What they were offering was maple hop water, essentially, but
Interesting.
I think it had a bit of a fizz to it, if I recall. I'm trying to recall.
I'm very curious what these taste like. Like these to me, look, I've never considered to have a hop infused water.
No,
Like,
me
to
neither.
me, like just plain water. Like this interests me. I guess.
What
my
is
point.
that? What is that quantum?
I think
That's off to the left.
This is the Imperial Stout, the bourbon
that's the
aged.
Imperial Stout, okay.
Yeah, we've actually had this one.
We have
before.
I thought it looked familiar.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm kind of surprised that this one is not on here. At least I don't see it anywhere.
Well, this one is 3 years old.
Yeah, I know, but I would have thought they would have had like a seasonal list or something. But
Now, I will
don't.
say that on their
What's a gluten test? Oh, okay. Anyway, you were saying.
I was saying go back to their beer list.
Right.
There's that tiramisu pastry stout. Now,
Oh, that's new.
okay, so typically anything from category 12 I love. That I was so disappointed in.
Really? What happened?
Yeah, no, it did not have, and people love it. Every time it comes out, it's out for a very limited amount of time, usually just before Christmas,
Right.
and it sells like nothing, and it's quite expensive. And I managed to snag one, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. I
Right.
tried it, and I was really disappointed. I thought it was kind of thin. The flavor profile was it was kind of watery.
Weird.
It wasn't what I was expecting. Let's put it that way. But everything else that I've had from category 12 is amazing.
I think we still have a can of this to get
We
through.
do have that that we will do on an upcoming.
But overall, I mean, these are beers that, I mean, yeah, we like this brewery. We've had them quite often. Because usually they have a seasonal that we like. But overall, I think when you get into the sweetness category, and we've had this problem before where, remember years ago, we had this excitement briefly for a beer that was like cake, or supposed to be cake, or it was called cake.
Oh, yeah.
But there was another one around that time that we also tried that was incredibly sweet. And to me, that's where those beers fell apart because they were too sweet. And it overwhelmed anything. It just became like a disgusting
Right.
sweet thing that you didn't really want to have.
If memory serves, the cake was from Longwood Brewing in Nanaimo. And it was supposed to taste like a Black Forest cake. And it did. It did.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it did. Maybe a little bit touch too sweet. I think I liked it better than Shane did, if memory serves. Now, there was another cake one that we had. It was from Parallel 49, and it was in one of the Advent calendars.
Right.
That we had. And that one was a little bit better, I thought.
I'm trying to think of what the other one was. I can't remember.
Well, there was that cake from Longwood, which we tried on the regular
There was another one around the same time.
And then there was the one from Parallel 49 was in the Advent calendar, and we were doing the Advent calendar.
No, this was not the one I'm trying.
No?
The one I'm thinking of is not the Advent calendar one. It was something else. It was around the same time as cake, like not at the exact same time, but within a few weeks, kind of thing. I'll have to go to the spreadsheet and actually look it up because I can't remember off the top
Go
of my head.
back and look at old episodes.
Well, that too. How do you think I populate the spreadsheet half the time since COVID? Every time I do like 4 or 5 once in a while, and I'm like, all right, I need to know what's going on, and so I look at what the video is doing. Although, hey ChatGPT, I like you. I would love it if you would actually watch this video and summarize what was talked about in the entire thing.
I would. You know what would be hilarious if ChatGPT says summary of what these guys talked about. They didn't talk about shit.
They talked about nothing important. Yeah, I mean that's the major problem with our show is that we're too awesome. Plain and simple. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So we like the beer, yes?
Yes. Oh yeah. There's no question this beer is
loves his beer about the sound of it.
Yeah.
I did try to inject some commentary while you were talking about your beer, but I guess you guys didn't hear it. So
no.
It's all
what were you going to say?
I don't remember.
Okay, fair enough.
Something really important.
There you have it, folks.
But overall, I got to say that this beer, sorry, I was going to say these two, not because I'm not having it, but today we've had a positive experience with the beer. Now let's talk about 2025 and what a crap hole it is. Go.
Well, I would say the biggest thing, and this isn't a personal thing, I think this affects us all, and because we're Canadian, we should maybe talk about it. Without getting too political and everything, but I think we have to talk about Trump wanting to annex Canada.
Why would we talk about it?
Because everybody else is.
So look, here's the thing. There's potentially a deal to be done there. What they would have to do is ditch that stupid fucking paper constitution. These would be the conditions. Ditch the paper constitution, adopt a parliamentary democracy, rejoin the Commonwealth. Do that, we're there.
So basically, we're talking about the United States joining Canada, not the other way around.
Respect their constitution anyway. He's taking a big steaming dump all over it.
Oh, totally.
He has proven it to be a wet paper bag in terms of its enforceability. So why not rejoin the Commonwealth? Just put all of that in a nice museum somewhere and rejoin the Commonwealth. Simple.
Well, I learned from the movie Dazed and Confused that the only reason why the Americans left the Commonwealth in the first place is because they didn't want to pay their taxes. So they're paying taxes anyway. So
all the history that Canadians know is generally from anything by Richard Linklater. That is a quote from Dazed and Confused.
White male didn't want to pay his taxes.
That's right.
Have a good summer.
Exactly. Have a good summer. That's awesome. Lost my train of thought. Can't remember. But I do think that
I do think Justin Trudeau is correct when he was on, I can't remember what it was, CNN, I think it was, saying that Trump is just using this whole Canada as a 51st to keep people from questioning the fact that he hasn't actually made he's not going to be able to make grocery prices go down or keep any of his myriad of promises.
How do politicians think they can make grocery prices go down?
I think exactly.
But no. Like, look, you're granting him, I think, more foresight than I would credit him with. Or Musk, the great inventor of the Hyperloop.
Yeah.
I was actually hanging out with some people the other day, and one of the people was that I know. Thank you. I left the house. No, there was a bunch of people that I was hanging out with, and one of them was hardcore, like an Elon Musk supporter, and which is totally fine, whatever. But I have to admit, during that conversation, it it entered the territory and stayed there for that sort of culty kind of response, right?
Yeah.
Because initially it sounded like, oh yeah, this is a fine thing, Elon's gonna change the world and this, that, everything. I'm like, sure, yeah, okay, totally is, yeah, no argument there, because he's helped found some companies that are kicked him out and still are doing some interesting things. Why
are we being led by Elon Musk?
This would be my point.
And Greta Thunberg, like what is there like an autism moment that the rest of us didn't get the memo on, where it's sort of like we've all decided to follow the autistic people?
No, we're following the money is what we're doing. These guys have money, and so we're following them, whether they deserve to be followed or not.
In terms of people on the spectrum, like, this is the highest representation in high levels of public authority figure that you've seen people that on the spectrum, probably since Charles V of Spain. Like, this is interesting, I think there's something on the one hand that's sort of cool about it. Like, they are both clearly savants in the old sense of the language, right? But should their vision be guiding the rest of us? That's an interesting question. I don't know.
No. And actually, it's something that I've been thinking about recently. One thing that Trump says is that we need to beef up our military to defend North America against any invaders. But the only country we need to protect ourselves from, in my opinion, is the United States.
The fucking U.S. Yeah. Now, we've been at war with them about as many times in the 19th century as we were at war with the fucking Russians. So, take your pick. Like, right now, if it weren't for Putin and Ukraine, I would be more inclined to become Russian.
Yes. My question is, and I don't know the answer to this. Maybe this is an easy question to answer. Does the rest of the world have enough military might to take down the United States? If every single country in the world that isn't the United States banded together,
let's be clear. The United States spends more on its military by like an order of magnitude than anybody else on the planet.
Yeah. Now,
let's be clear. $300 a screw, and the only thing screwed is their veterans. How many third world toilets, in the language of Hunter S. Thompson, have they wandered into without a hint of a Navy or Air Force and had their asses handed to them?
That's true. Vietnam?
That's an American saying that. I mean, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, okay, so here's another question. The U.S. has waged war many times, but always in foreign lands. Not since probably 1812 and the American Revolution have they ever waged war on their own soil. How would that work? Like, how could they defend themselves on their own soil?
Well, I think the greatest look. I think part of the other reason that you'll see the Donald Trump saber rattling is because the likelier scenario, as has been commented on much since 2016, really since earlier than that, is the possibility of another American Civil War, which would likely have serious knock-on effects for Canadians. I would love to hear. I would love to know what Quebec have to say about this. I wish somebody from there would speak a little louder in English, just just to let us know how they're doing.
Yeah. I'd be interested. Would Quebec want to join? I don't think they would, because I don't think they'd get any better of a deal.
Well, I think they would be measuring the amount of French spoken in Louisiana right now and thinking to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that wasn't it back in? Well, actually, back in '95 when the referendum in Quebec happened, the U.S. in some of their classified declassified documents from 5-10 years ago, basically said that the U.S. interest in North America, had Quebec separated, they would annex Quebec because they do not want a province that has such a far reach into the north to be on its own, because they would have no military, they would have nothing. Like, they would be pretty much on their own, and that's too much. That they're too close to the U.S. for that to be acceptable. So in theory, had that document, or had they actually followed what that document recommended, then hey, Quebec would be the 51st state. And like you were saying, I don't think the U.S. would give a shit about French sovereignty. I think they would just be like, you're all speaking Mexican now, thanks. Or whatever. I mean,
hold on a minute here. Do they really have 50 states?
Okay.
I'm just fact checking this. Do they actually have
please do. It's been a long time since I read it. So
let's be clear. I mean, the U.S. has contingency plans for every single thing that could possibly happen at any time in the world, right? I mean,
yeah.
That's part of the American.
Well, sorry, they have, what do they have?
They have contingency plans.
Who? Who?
Sorry. The CIA makes contingency plans that they can.
Sure. And the CIA is the source of world facts if you're in a legal environment.
For the United States, it is.
Well, no. In Canada and internationally, internationally, the CIA world reported facts tend to at least be persuasive law. The notion that they're right, I think, is remote, but
yes.
But people use them. I mean, here's the thing. So the United States set itself up as a kind of a stable coin, if you see what in the nation state game, with the idea that we had just had a second round of the Europeans tearing each other limb from limb, quite literally. And so the idea was that the United States is stable because, like, until they're not. And I think we just, that was the phone call we got the other day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so if there's a stabilizer, and the United States, by electing Trump, has announced that they are no longer that stabilizer. That would be like, if we're talking about how history tends to move, if you were to compare, Roman empires, Byzantine and Roman respectively, and kind of look at, how would we reflect on, where we are in all of this? I think that's not one of those signs that says that you're on the climb. Your powers are evidently dwindling. And so, if that's the case, and you're not the stabilizer anymore, who is? Mm-hmm. Who has the character to act like that? China, fucking not under Xi, certainly not Putin. He's the class clown. Who left? Not Iran. So the Persians, are not providing stability. Clearly not anybody in the fucking Middle East right now. No. So no stability there. Who would provide stability? Who's acting as though they have the maturity to be the adult in the room? I think maybe it's the Nordics, maybe it's us. Maybe what we should be doing is forging stronger ties with Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, Greenland.
Sounds smart.
Like a mutual defense pact, I think, might at least be in order. No?
Yeah. How quickly could that be done?
I have no idea. Here's what I would observe. Of the people who are currently looking for the next prime ministership, they're all from Alberta. Chrystia Freeland, Poilievre, Mark Carney actually, I think, has some Alberta roots.
Yes,
but
he does.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Mark Carney was on the Daily Show down in the States.
I know. That is the only evidence that anybody really has that this is something that he's actually doing, because up until now mostly it's his competence that he's been riding on, but evidently nobody gives a shit about that in the political realm. So can he be a personality? And it sounds like it's. Am I right in hearing the reports that he can?
I think so. Based on what I saw, I was actually impressed. I don't vote Liberal, but I'd vote for him. But I mean, his party if he was leader.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
he was very compelling.
Personally, I loathe the confusion between government and entertainment.
Yes.
Government should never be interesting. No. It should be so fucking boring. It's like.
But you know what? I would say since the 80s, it almost is.
What do you mean?
No wonder their president is an actor. It's got to look good on television. That's from Back to the Future. That was when Ronald Reagan was president. And I think it started there. There is an entertainment aspect to politics, and I loathe it. I hate it. It's not supposed to be that way, but it is how it is.
I don't loathe it or hate it quite that much, and that's because I know how old it is. I mean, bear in mind the Kit Kat Club, who brought William of Orange over to run England. And formed, the Bank of England and many other institutions that are now sort of part of the landscape. Amongst their crew were Vanbrugh, who, aside from being a set designer, or more to the point, because he was a set designer, was hired by the aristocracy to design their homes. And that's why you have things like Blenheim Castle and those things. It's why they're in a modern sense not actually that large if you really address the amount of floor space. Awkward to live in, but man, they look good.
I mean, hasn't been politics going back to a very long time ago? Hasn't it always been entertainment? Or has something changed in our current world because of social media?
No. The violence took precedent for most of history. Okay. It's really only since about the 18th century that we've stepped back from that a little, when we do, and then when we don't, it's so much fucking worse. But yeah, up until a point, and that point really was the 18th century. I mean, the last British monarch to lead an army into battle at the front of the army,
right,
was George II. Interestingly, if you visit the Tower of London, they have an exhibit of the first three George's swords: George I, George II, George III. Interestingly, George I's sword has a curve to it. George II's is straight. But they're both absolutely clearly instruments designed for the parting of human flesh. They are weapons first and foremost. George III's sword is a decoration. It's a rapier, but it's basically it's a costume piece.
Right.
That's sort of when the shift happened. That would be about 1760s, 1763, more to the point.
Do you think that we should have some sort of requirements for political I'm thinking about what do they call it? Stump speeches, where they traveled around. Politicians would travel around on trains.
Cub thumping in that.
Yeah, and they would have to speak to people that were there. Is it better to do that, or is the online world... No, but hang on. The online world has really messed with it, and I was just watching another chat the other day about with the advent of tools like what's it called? The video thing that ChatGPT created, or OpenAI, whatever the hell it's called, doesn't matter. But essentially, the video tools are now to the point where they're so good, and ones that you run on your own machine are so good that you could create fake AI versions of human beings and make them say whatever you want, which we've been doing for a while. But now it's in the hands of people that are not experts or don't have to understand the technology that much. They just have to know how to talk to a computer.
Or the consequences of the technology.
Exactly. Like, is it better that it's like anything we see online is trash? Come and I'll talk off the caboose. Like, talk off the caboose. Anyway, you were going to say, Locke, you had a very strong opinion reaction there.
Look, just to talk off the caboose for a minute. Let me suggest that. So, if you think about the havoc that was wreaked in the 17th century by the invention of the printing press, it was the 30 Years' War was the bloodiest war that Europe had seen up until that point in history. We could be facing a similar problem. The distance between the rise of people being able to do what you just described and the invention of the technology, you can see everybody's on edge. It's not like there's a broadly acknowledged peace going on right now where everybody's super chill. That doesn't really seem to be quite how people are talking about it. Now, maybe what would change that? What if we just decided to presume that, no, you know what? We are really super fucking chill right now. We're really calm. Maybe that's a good idea, maybe just spreading a lot of that. It's a good idea. I mean, I don't know, like nothing else historically really has worked. So, yeah, really getting into the idea that like there's no solution, so there's no problem.
That's very true. No, I'm just curious because I don't think there's a solution for anything in terms of what the day and age that we're living in. I mean,
yeah,
I generally will stick to newspapers, to I don't know. I don't get any of my information or news off of social media channels ever. I never have. I find them far too specific or far too not specific, dodgy. I tend to enjoy being sorry,
somewhere between specific and dodgy.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, exactly. But you know, I would rather.
Social media is going to be the death of us. I've said this before, and I'll say it again.
I am down that path already. I know, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of things that like for example, AI tools. I've tinkered more recently in the last couple of months with pulling detailed transcripts from our YouTube videos for the Crafty Boys. But I'm also have been experimenting with using AI to actually say, hey, look at this video and pull out 3 highlights and then format them in a video that we could use for other things like social media posts or whatever. Mainly because I just think it's we've never done it. I don't really care to do it, but because, you know, we do this for fun. But at the same time, I'm interested in seeing what kinds of things we can actually pull out of our discussions on here. Like there's going to be, we talk about a lot of pop culture, we talk about a lot of politics, we talk about a lot of sort of...
Let's fucking walk this back a meter.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Is what you're saying that you're going to try to get the robot to watch all this shit that we've done over the years?
Oh yeah, it takes like 10 seconds, 30 seconds,
and pick out the bits that aren't complete fucking rubbish.
Well, you get to review the stuff. It goes in and picks out, because it's going off of a certain keywords. As it looks at the video, gets an idea of what actually the video is about.
To be clear, I'm not going to fucking do that job. So if it'll do it for me,
Oh yeah, no, this is what I'm saying. Like we don't have to do anything at all.
Fucking man.
So yeah, so I think it's fascinating to do. Like, while you guys are chatting, I pulled one of our videos and I ran it through, and it pulled out, for example, it's like at 0 introduction and initial reactions to the beer. Then it says, okay, and then 10 seconds later, it's talking about this particular beer, talking about this next beer. That is talking. Apparently, in this video that I ran through, we talked about Vegas drinking culture. I have no memory of that, but whatever. I guess we did. But this is my favorite thing. This is actually one of the video. This is one of the cuts that it actually took for its little automatic pulling of highlights. Philosophy of beer drinking. Like, to me, that's our entire show in a nutshell. The philosophy of beer drinking. And then so it's interesting because I'm wanting to see what these tools actually can pull out of a video. This particular video is from Christmas 2016, so it's like almost 10 years ago. So I'll have no memory of what that conversation was about, but I'm interested to read out things like, join us in this episode as we explore the exciting top of the morning breakfast stout. This is for the advent calendar, by the way, Alan.
Oh.
Listen to our enthusiastic first impressions of the rich flavors that challenge conventional breakfast choices. What the hell does that mean? But whatever. We revisit a nostalgic moment with an IPA. And it sounds like a sex dream.
I challenge conventional breakfast choices. Fucking
and discuss the social norms around morning drinking. Okay. With some humor around domestic life and a nod to pop culture, this video is a fun dive into enjoying a hearty stout as the new way to start your day.
Shane, we
no mention of Christmas, no mention of the holidays. So yeah,
you know what it did. It figured out what the likely next word would be and did that.
Oh yeah, no, exactly, and that's and that funny you should say that, because that is something I always tell people. I'm like, these things aren't smart. They don't actually know anything.
You'll have seen me do,
but yeah. Say that again. You froze for a sec.
You'll have seen me do this many times over the long haul of the Crafty Boys. That's not because I'm about to pick the likely word that comes next.
Well, exactly, and that's exactly what these language models do. Is they have a percentage algorithm that says, okay, well, the next word is probably going to be this based on all the training that it's had, and. But I have to admit, over the holidays, OpenAI did have a Santa voice that you could talk to.
The voice was pretty fucking good.
Really?
Yeah,
I had no idea about this.
Yeah, no. Like Shane had his Santa going like while we were opening presents, and he would like be asking it like crude questions, and it would respond.
Well, yeah, because you can ask it anything.
The most responsible fucking which is a strong argument for it, if they're not going to take my plan and ditch that stupid paper constitution and rejoin the Commonwealth, what the United States should do is get AI Santa as president, because it's so much better than anything else they've got going on right now.
But that's the thing with all of these elements. I mean, that I'm very curious. I mean, my goal here is to be able to pull in all of our personalities, put them into an algorithm, and just auto-generate thousands upon thousands of beer reviews. I mean, I think, and then we could just retire, and because a little while ago, not too like I don't know, a couple of months ago,
we would get bored, so we would have to launch something new.
Oh, damn it. Jeez, really?
Well, we've done hundreds of reviews at this point, right?
We've done it we're probably close to, if not over 500 by now. But
individually, not collectively.
Let me see if I can find it. There's a great video. Here we go. So I'm just going to show you the screenshot. I'm not going to play it, but just to show you, this podcast was done recently, and it's called Poo Poo Pee Pee.
No.
And so basically what it does, I'm not sure how they did this, but basically it's a conversation between a female host and a male host, talking about the greatest document called Poo Poo Pee Pee. So this AI just has a conversation with itself discussing how amazing Poo Poo Pee Pee is. And I do recommend people listen to this for just the shits and giggles of it. But at the same time, it's scary. If you were not paying attention, if you were just kind of casually listening to it in the background and not really absorbing what it's actually saying, you would not there's no distinction between real people and this AI talking. Now, it's when you do listen to it, it is stunted. The language sometimes kind of is weird, and you're like, what? Like I cloned my voice a year or so ago, and I asked the AI to have me talking about something. And again, if you weren't paying attention, you would not know it was not me.
Yeah.
When I listen to it, though, I can definitely hear parts where I'm like, I wouldn't say it that way. What the hell did you just do? But again, I mean, imagine somebody saying, hey, all of our voices have been online for years. somebody could take samples of our voice and then suddenly phone calls to your family members going, "Oh man, I need $20. I'm trapped in a gas station in Oklahoma."
$20.
This kind of garbage. Yeah, exactly. I need $3,422.
Well,
but yeah, I mean,
I think I've talked about this before. There's this guy on YouTube that I follow, and I watch his shows regularly. It's called Retro Recipes, and anyway, there was a new episode that was posted. This was probably about a year ago now, and I watched it, and everything was fine. And then right at the end, he goes, "I'm sick. I actually programmed an AI to do this episode, and you've been watching an AI this entire time." And I had no idea. Until that moment, I had no idea that I wasn't actually watching the guy that I watch every single week.
Yeah. This has actually been quite common over the last, say, 24 months, where a lot of creators have done that. The one that I never watched but knew of because he was kind of in that sort of top 20 vloggers for YouTube. But he was a video game player. He would do, record gameplay and talk about games and all this kind of shit. But he now again to give him some credit, even though his audience was like, "Fuck you, buddy," because his audience crashed and collapsed. He decided that instead of him recording and doing what he normally was doing, that he would have an AI do it. So he trained AI to play the games that he normally would play on a regular basis. And then and this is kind of where it kind of went sideways on him, I think, was when he did he created an avatar of himself that was not, to be realistic, it was like a cartoon version of him. But the conversational part of it, where normally he'd be talking about the game he was playing or what was going on, blah, 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 blah. The AI was doing it. So he basically said, okay, the content that I've been generating for however many years is now going to be generated by this AI, and it won't be me anymore. And I'm just going to sit back and make money, or whatever the point was. To the credit I will give him, sorry?
Engage in rent-seeking behavior.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, right? Like it was, from a technology perspective, it was actually quite cool, and he spent a lot of money to do this. And I gave him kudos for that, to actually see if that would work. But with the intention to replace yourself, like, that to me is, he appeared to be so focused on replacing himself with this AI that he didn't sort of realize that there's a humanity component. And maybe, I'm pretty sure he thought of it. I'm sure he was concerned about it, whatever. But just from somebody looking in who was not necessarily somebody who would watch him all the time.
Hold on a minute. What would be the humanity component? Like you're presuming that what people were responding to was his authenticity when he was doing what he was doing before.
Well, I wouldn't say. Well, no, I wouldn't say authentic. Well, maybe it's authentic, but it's his character.
Hold on a second. His character. Yeah. His character. Yeah. Suppose that was a lot of effort. Suppose that was a lot of work that he was doing, maintaining that fucking character.
Oh yeah, no, people burn out on this stuff all the time.
Hold on. This is just backup. This is what AI really is something that isn't new, except for the fact that now we've extended our reach. But what was going on in him when he was delivering that performance was artificial. Was it intelligent? Probably, yeah. Right?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I haven't ever watched his content other than the stuff where he talked about the AI stuff.
I guess what I'm saying is, to the degree that we should be squeamish of it, we shouldn't be squeamish because it's artificial and it's intelligent, because we've been doing that for fucking ever. What I'm saying is the fact that we've extended to the point where we're doing it, where we're, never mind phoning it in, We're just pressing a button, letting.
Well, and that's the thing is that his audience said, "We want to see you. We don't want to see the AI." The AI was cool for playing with.
We can't discern between the actual human and the AI unless they specifically tell us. And that's
well, no, but in this particular case, though, it was a cartoon of him. Like, it was not a human being. Like, it was.
What I'm saying,
it was very, very deliberate.
What I'm saying is that what he was doing before wasn't really a human being either.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't have an answer for that because I've never watched him.
What I'm suggesting is that, and I don't know. You're right. I don't know either. But what I'm suggesting is what he was performing before might have been just as artificial as the artificial intelligence.
Well, that is a huge component of being on YouTube, is that people know it's all about personality and about attracting people. So they will. You have the extremes of people going to other countries and like throwing fish in the road or whatever, to get attention, and then you have the other individuals who are. Like I would say probably one of the more, not boring, but the more subtle vloggers that I watch every couple of months. I'll watch an episode or two because they're pretty short, like 10-20 minutes, is Shirley Curry, who is a Skyrim player. So she plays Skyrim, the video game. She's 83, somewhere in there, but her grandchild, one of her grandchildren, now I'm going to probably get this all wrong, but essentially at some point she decided she wanted to try playing video games. She liked Skyrim, and then she liked watching other players on YouTube, and then her kid said, "Hey, you can learn to do that too." So they built her a fancy machine and showed her how to record things and whatnot, and she, to the point where Bethesda flew her to wherever they're headquartered and scanned her in to be a character in their next whatever is coming after Sky, whatever the next Elder Scrolls game.
Right. Okay.
So, but my point is that instead of, and this is the difference, and this is, I think, what I'm trying to get at is, her personality is just kind of elderly person. She's very calm. She's funny, but ultimately, when she's playing the game. Now, normally, people recording gameplay in a game like this is, okay, this is where we start, and we got to get to this end point to beat the big bad or whatever. And they play the game as though they're playing the game, where she was more interested in story. So she would be like, okay, I'm starting out in a random place. This is the character that I've created, kind of like rolling a D&D character. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I like the look of that mountain over there. I'm going to go check it out. And that was what it was. She was not following any particular game thing. She was just reacting to whatever she found in the world organically. And it was fascinating. And she would have these things, like I think she established like 20 episodes, so roughly, a few hours of content, playing with this one character. And then she would roll a new character and she'd start somewhere else and do the same sort of thing. And that, to me, to try and get at what you're saying, is about the whole personality thing. Now, but just recently she did post saying that she was kind of done with doing that because she's been doing it for about 5 or 6 years. And she decided, like any other person, eventually you either get bored, you get you burn out on doing that thing. And 4 or 5 years ago, that was all the rage in YouTube land, because you had all these people have been creating stuff on YouTube since 2010, and they just burned out. They were like, the algorithm changed, this stuff changed. Suddenly we have to record every single day. It just becomes completely unsustainable.
Well, at her age, I can't imagine it gets any easier.
Well, yeah, for her especially, but for a lot younger people, they were burning out. And I think this is bringing it back to this dude who created an AI of himself. I think that was his problem as well, is that he was burning out, and he was having to keep up with how YouTube shares stuff and promotes stuff. Because if you are not posting every single day, then you're buried under everything else.
Yeah.
Where if you are constantly pumping content out of this platform, then
Which is
you have a
why
better
we
chance of
only
success.
have 50 followers.
Exactly. If we published
That's
every
the
single
only
day,
reason.
multiple times a day, we would probably have thousands and thousands of followers. Now, this is also assuming that our content is interesting. But my point being is that if we have lives, we have lives. We're not here to create financial whatever by talking on the internet like that. If we wanted to, we could do that and try our damnedest to make that happen. But the reality is, YouTube's changed.
No. To be clear, if we wanted to, we would dominate like crazy, and we would.
Oh yeah, we totally would.
The interweb and
of course,
so
we would make the internet our bitch. But the other thing too is that I was reading something just the other day written by a friend of mine about who writes for the Harvard Business Review, and their specialty talks about online stuff and content creation, things like that. And the thing that they said just the other day was, with all of this stuff in the news about social media, Meta has decided to move to Texas. They're giving up filtering a lot of the content on Facebook, blah, 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 blah.
Texas is so much cooler than fucking...
Oh, right, yeah. The big thing was that she said, and this is what I've been saying for a few years now, go back to having your own website and blogging on it. Fuck social media. Sure, share your stuff there so people know where to go, but tell them to come to you. Don't do it out there anymore.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, social media was all about that. You could do it quite easily. But now with TikTok being banned in the States, apparently right now it's banned.
The mantra that I heard from a good friend of mine, and I want everyone to know this one, is if the product is free, the product is you.
Well, yeah, I mean that's that. Yeah, I've said that for years. Like, you are not anything special, and you're going to be, you're going to be the internet's bitch, not the other way around.
Mm.
But ultimately, actually, hey, hang on. Let me find it here. I'm going to log into my TikTok account, and I'm going to show you the best video on the internet, and you are going to be amazed at my absolute brilliance.
Okay.
So here we go. So this is going to be your life will be changed by the pearls of wisdom that will be dropping from my lips here. All right, here we go. Nope, I don't want you to play that. I want you to play the video that I was playing. Go back.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Shane. This is my first TikTok. You're all gonna die alone. So there you go. That is the best internet video currently online.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, we'll see if it gets banned by the fucking Americans or whatever.
Alan, you suddenly went green screen. Or not. Alan, are you there? Earth to Alan. Earth to... we can't hear. Get a new microphone, man.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah, you're back.
Sorry, what happened was I wiggled my microphone and it disconnected from my computer, which I think is what happened at the beginning of the show. I think it's my cable is messed up.
You should get a new microphone, man.
No, it's a cable. So I think I'll just get
surprisingly like real world problem for something so digital.
Yeah,
it's very true.
Yeah,
but
I blame AI.
Yeah,
and social media.
I do too.
Fucking TikTok.
But we've been recording for like quite a while now, and it's late where Locke is, and he probably wants to go to bed. So we want to thank everyone for watching today. We had at least 6,000 people watching today. It's amazing. Kisses to all of you. And any final words, boys?
Women are fat.
Bye.